So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you for joining and keeping the appointment Krishna today. That is 30th of September, right? So, we will be discussing four verses 24, 25, 26, and 27 from 11th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jagannath Buddheswara Mai ki jai. Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai. Panchatattva ki jai. Shri Goswami ki jai. Guru Parampara ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai. So, first let us recite those four verses. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानविशेषक्षं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द हरे कृष्ण नवस्पृशं दीप्तम् अनेकवर्णम् व्याताननं दीप्त विशालनेत्रम् दृष्ट्वा हि त्वां प्रव्यतितान्तरात्मा धृतिं न विन्दामि शमं च विष्णो. The translation goes like this. Translation by Shri Prabhupada ki jai. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Verse number 25. Kamshtra karalani chate mukhani drishtva kalanana sannibhani दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्म प्रसीद देवेश जगन निवास. Translation by Shri Prabhupada ki jai. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I am bewildered. Verse number 26 and 27. अमी च त्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्राः सर्वे सहैवावनिपालसङ्गैः भीष्मो द्रोणसूतपुत्रस्तथासौ सहास्मदीयैरपि योधमुख्यैः. 27th verse. वक्त्राणि ते त्वरमाणा विशन्ति दंष्ट्रा करालानि भयानकानि केचिद्विलग्ना दशनान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैरुत्तमाङ्गैः. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. The two beautiful verses which Arjuna is praying. See this in chapter 10, no? After hearing all the Krishna's words in this chapter, 10th chapter, where Krishna says, no, in the last verse, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. So he instigated Arjuna, no? So now Arjuna wants to see. So Arjuna wishes to see that all-pervasive form of the Lord. See, although Krishna is driving Arjuna's chariot, no, he pervades and supports the entire universe. Although he's there, but he's so therefore Arjuna is wishing to see Krishna's that all-pervading form. So Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his universal form, if he may wish to. He's not ordering them, right? So verse number 26 till 30, these verses describe the future occurrences that Arjuna sees within the Kala Rupa. So the two analogies were there, right? In 26 and 27. Devouring all soldiers of both armies on both sides, including Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, rushing into your mouth. Right? So Prabhupada says in the purport of 26 and 27, in a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. So now, He gives him that divine vision so that he can see that universal form. See, in the beginning and the purport, there's no purport in the 24th verse. No, there is a translation. There's one line. My mind is perturbed by fear. Because Arjuna is looking at the universal form and seeing everything. No, his mind was totally perturbed and he became fearful. It is similar to, and ultimately Arjuna says, "You please show me the, come back. I am bewildered. I'm afraid, and all those things, right?" So, and he asked him to come back. Similarly, in 10:3:28, Devaki Mata, I remember, she requested, because Krishna is born coming as, uh, he's coming at Krishna, direct as Krishna in Devaki and Vasudeva house, family, right? So Devaki, she requested the Lord when he just was born, who appeared as Vishnu, to conceal that form. He came in 400 form. Because she wanted to see the Lord as an ordinary child, appreciated by persons who have materialized. So Devaki wanted to see that Supreme Personality Godhead. Now she was afraid to see, just like she was, if Kamsa were to come, no, she thought, oh, upon seeing that 400 Vishnu form, he would immediately kill the child. But we saw a human child, no, he might even reconsider. So Devaki was afraid. See, she was not afraid of Ugrasena and his men, but the son of Ugrasena, that is Kamsa. So she requested God, the Lord, to dissipate that fear. Because Krishna is always ready to give protection, right? Abhayam to his devotees. So she said, my Lord, she prayed, I request you to save me from these cruel hands of the son of Ugrasena Kamsa. She said, I'm praying to your Lordship to please rescue me from this fearful condition, because you are always ready to give protection to your servitors. So the Lord has confirmed this statement in the Bhagavad-gītā by assuring Arjuna, you declare to the world, my devotee shall never be vanquished. Me bhaktya pranishyati. So while thus praying to the Lord for rescue, Devaki expressed her motherly affection. She said, I understand that this transcendental form is generally perceived in meditation by the great sages. But I am still afraid, because as soon as Kamsa understands that you appeared, he might harm you. So I request that for the time being, you become invisible to our material lives. In other words, she requested the Lord to assume the form of an ordinary child. And she said, my only cause of fear from my brother Kamsa is due to your appearance. See, Kamsa may know, she said, Kamsa may know that you are already born. So I request you to conceal this four-armed form of your lordship, which holds the four symbols, right? Of Vishnu name, conch shell, disc, club, and the lotus flower. And she also says to the Lord, at the end of the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, you put the whole universe within your abdomen. Still, by your unalloyed mercy, you have appeared in my womb. I'm surprised that you imitate the activities of ordinary human beings just to please your devotees. And she was so pleased. So Devaki was so afraid of Kamsa. See, this point is very nice to understand. She was so much afraid of Kamsa that she could not believe that Kamsa would be unable to kill Lord Vishnu. Right? That much she never had thought. Because Lord Vishnu was personally present and nobody can kill. So out of motherly affection, she requested Supreme Lord to disappear. So although because of the Lord's disappearance, Kamsa would harass her more and more, thinking that the child born of her was hidden somewhere. So she did not want the transcendental child to be harassed and killed. So therefore, she requested Lord Vishnu to disappear. And in another verse, Prabhupada says in the purport, no, same actually after that, bewildered, he is fearful. He again says, Arjuna, I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. See, so much. First, he wanted to see the whole pervading form of the Lord. And Krishna gave him the vision and he was able to see. But when he saw so many things happening, he totally became fearful. He's perturbed. So he said, my mind, I cannot maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of my mind also. So much. So how to maintain the equilibrium of mind? By seeing this, you get right. So the process of meditation, in one of the lectures, Prabhupada says, The process of meditation is meant for keeping the mind in equilibrium. And that is known as shama. And dhamma means controlling the senses. See, my senses are always dictating me, right? Oh, you take this, you enjoy this, you do that, right? And I'm being driven by these senses. So we are all actually servants of the senses. So we have to become servant of sin. So we become thereby, see, we are actually servant of the senses, like this going doing. We are driven because the senses are dictating. You take this, you do this. So we become servant of senses, right? So we have to transform into becoming servant of Krishna. That's all. That is Krishna conscious. See, everybody, we are all actually servant. See, the nature of the soul is to serve. So we are always servant, but we are servant of the senses. And therefore we are being dictated, and then we are being getting frustrated. So what we have to do, we have to become servant of Krishna. You cannot become master. That is not possible. You have to become servant. So if you don't become servant of Krishna, then you have to become servant of your senses. So that is our position. So those who are intelligent, no, they will understand that if I have to remain a servant, why I shall remain servant of senses? Why not Krishna? This is intelligence. And those are foolish. They are foolishly those who are keeping themselves as servant of the senses, no? They are spoiling their lives. See, the perfection of yoga means keeping the mind in a state of equilibrium. That Arjuna was not at that state when he saw those very fearful things. So, materially speaking, keeping the mind in a state of equilibrium is not that easy. It is next to impossible. See, even Arjuna said, no, I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. So, after reading, see, if you read some mundane novels, fiction, something, you will want to read it again, okay, but you can, sorry, you will not be able to, you don't want to read it again, right? One time, maximum two times. But you can read Bhagavad-gītā 4 times a day and still not get tired. You may chant somebody's name, half an hour, or sing a mundane song 3, 4 times. But before long, this becomes tiresome. Hare Krishna, right? Hare Krishna can be chanted day and night, and one will never tire of it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So it is only through this transcendental vibration, sound vibration, that the mind can be kept in a state of equilibrium. So when one's mental activities are thus stabilized, no, that means it is said to have that you attained yoga, the mental equilibrium, no, state of equilibrium. So chanting is the best process. And in the 25th verse, again it says, no, O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I am bewildered. Totally bewildered. See, in 3.142 purport, Bhagavatam, when Lord Krishna was personally present in this material world, no, in his eternal blissful form of Shamasundara, those who were not pure devotees of the Lord, they could not recognize him or know his glories. Avajanati Mahamura Manushim Tanum Ashritam, 9.11 Bhagavad-gītā says, is always bewildering to the non-devotees. But Arjuna was not a non, he was a devotee. But seeing those, he was totally bewildered. What is this? So ultimately, he told him not to get back to his normal position. But he's always, see, he is bewildered to non-devotees, but he's always seen by the devotees by their pure devotional service to him. So that keeps them in state of equilibrium, peaceful, blissful, right? That's the most important thing to understand. See, in the 26th translation, he says, all the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also are rushing into your fearful house. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. In the purport of 26-27, Prabhupada says, in a previous verse, the Lord promised Arjuna to show the things he would be interested in seeing. That's what he was asking to show the universal form. Now Arjuna sees that. What does he see? See the leaders of the opposite party. Who are those? Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of the Dhritarashtra. And their own Arjuna, these Pandavas soldiers, they were also being annihilated. So this is an indication. Prabhupada says that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled at Kurukshetra, Arjuna will emerge victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karna, not only with the great warriors of the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjuna's side also. See, in the translation of purport, the seventh verse is very important, very nice. Where, see, Krishna is telling to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. Now, this universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see, and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. So the purport very nicely Prabhupada says, no one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Can we? We can see in one room also, one room only we can see, and I cannot go to see the other rooms. So even the most advanced scientists cannot see what is going on in the other parts of the universe. But a devotee like Arjuna can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. So Krishna gives him the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. So by the mercy of Krishna, Arjuna is able to see everything. See, in Bhagavad-gītā began with an inquiry, Dhritarashtra Vacha. And Dhritarashtra was hopeful of victory of his sons, assisted by warriors like Bhishma, Drona, Karna. He was hopeful that the victory would be on his side. But see what Arjuna saw, correct? So, but after describing the scene on the battlefield, Sanjaya told the king, you are thinking of victory. By my opinion is that where Krishna and Arjuna are present, there will be all good fortune. What did Sanjaya say? Where Krishna and Arjuna are present, there will be all good fortune. So he directly confirmed that Dhritarashtra could not expect victory for his side. Victory was certain for the side of Arjuna because Krishna was there. So Krishna's acceptance of the post of charity for Arjuna was an exhibition of another opulence. So Krishna is full of all opulences, and renunciation is one of them. Very important. So there are many instances of such renunciation. For Krishna is also the master of renunciation. See in Bhagavatam 1935, Prabhupada, he says in the Bhagavad-gītā 12, 1.1st chapter, 21st and 21st to 25th verse, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, these 5 verses. Arjuna ordered the infallible Lord Krishna to place his chariot between the phalanxes of the soldiers, right? He asked him to please. So he asked him to stay there until he had finished observing the enemies he had to face in the battle. So when Krishna was asked, he at once did it immediately, just like an order carrier. And the Lord, now here, Krishna very smartly, he pointed out all the important men on the opposite side, saying, here is Bhishma, here is Drona. So the Lord, being the supreme living being, is never the order supplier or order carrier for anyone, whoever it may be. But out of his causeless mercy and affection for his pure devotees, sometimes he carries out the order of the devotees like an awaiting servant. So by executing the order of a devotee, Krishna becomes pleased, just like a father is pleased to carry out the order of his small child. Right? So he says, I want to, you become a horse, I will sit on top of you. He does it. Right? So this is possible only out of pure transcendental love between the Lord and his devotees. And Bhishma Deva, quite aware, he was aware of this fact. He therefore addressed the Lord as the friend of Arjuna. So what happened? Krishna diminished the duration of life of the opposite party just by glance, merciful glance. It is said that all the fighters who assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they all attained salvation by personally seeing the Lord at the time of death. So therefore, Krishna's diminishing the duration of life of Arjuna's enemies does not mean that he was partial to the cause of Arjuna. Okay. Actually, he was merciful to the opposite party also because they would not have attained salvation by dying at home in the ordinary course of life. So here was a chance to see the Lord at the time of death and thus attain salvation from material life. So therefore the Lord is all good and whatever he does is for everyone's good. So apparently it was for the victory of Arjuna, his intimate friend, right? But actually it was for the good of Arjuna's enemies also. So such are the transcendental activities of Krishna that whoever understand this also, they also get a salvation after quitting this material body. See, the Krishna does not do any wrong in any circumstance because he is absolute and he's all good at all times. That is a very important point to understand. See, the thing is, life which we are at the moment following, the process which we are following, Krishna consciousness, is the eternal process. See, nothing else we have to follow. And one thing we should remember always that in this spiritual lifestyle, we should never get fed up. We should just become an instrument in Krishna's hand, just like Arjuna became. See, Arjuna, after seeing everybody killed and all, and when he said, just by my glance, I have killed everyone. Arjuna is telling, then what is my role? What is the point in my shooting the arrows? Krishna said, just you become my instrument. That is the beauty of Krishna, right? Krishna does everything, but to glorify his devotees. The devotees will be glorified. He asks them to become his instrument. So we have to become his instrument, right? So we should not get fed up in our devotional service day. We have to do our sadhana day in and day out. See, as the time goes by, our bodies start troubling us. And as soon as there is some trouble in the body, we forget about these things. And because we forget, what happens? Ailment, disease, everything increases. Why? Because we don't have the clear idea why we are following this Krishna consciousness. See, our birth is in India, Indian birth, right? Bharatiya birth. So our culture is somehow or the other preserved so far in a Vedic way, to some extent. That's why we have to give this Krishna consciousness to the younger generation, so that the next generation is completely safe. But soon it is vanishing because the understanding is not there. So we should be very clear about these things before we try to advance in this field. So the first thing we have to remember is that in this age, Kali Yuga, particularly Kali Yuga, right? There are so many faults, ocean of faults. What a beautiful verse is 12:351. Karer dosho nidhe rajan, astyo eko mahan gunaha, kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrjet. Dosha nidhe. Nidhi means ocean of faults. Karer dosha nidhe rajan, astyo eko mahan gunaha. There is only one good, very good quality. And Krishna says, right? Shukadeva Goswami explains to Parikshit Maharaj. There are so many doshas, but there is one good quality. And that is given in the second line. Kare dosho nidhe rajan. Shukadeva Goswami is telling, no? O king, Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. Kale dosho nidhe rajan, kale dosho nidhe rajan, astya eko mahan guna. So first line he says, no, Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, but there is one good quality. That is, Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajit. So these 10, 12 words, he had described our own life. Our life is full of faults because we are in the age of, unfortunately, right? If we are in this age. So faults are bound to be there. Nothing you can do about it. One thing we should all have a very clear idea. See, as soon as the subtle sin, not only gross sin, which knowingly, subtle sin is introduced in our life, the decrease of the duration of the body is 10 times more. What happened in Satyuga? They were 100,000 years old. So life was 100,000. But as soon as a quarter of sin is introduced, they came to Treta Yuga, right? So life dropped from 100,000 to 10,000, 10 times drop, like that, Dwapar and Kali Yuga. So we should remember always, the subtle sin is introduced in our life and the duration of life drops 10 times. That is the ratio of the sin and the drop in the life. So this should be very clear in our mind. So we should shun from having any sinful idea also. Ideas are first, actions follow afterwards. So this ratio, is horrifies us. And our life is full of sins, really. Knowingly, unknowingly, we are doing. So we have in Janma, how many you might have eaten, veg, non-veg, whatever it is, right? So much, so many sins we would have committed, and our life dropped completely. Fortunately, we are under the roof of Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So our karmic reactions are not troubling us too much. So they are mild. Otherwise, people go mad because of the karmic reactions. So only this lifestyle, Krishna conscious lifestyle, saves us from madness. So Arjuna is teaching us that, of course, he wanted to see, but he was very afraid to see this. He asked him to come in his original form. So Krishna was very generous and merciful to him also. And basically, the universal form of intro wanted to show him so that people, to show people that Krishna is the Supreme Personality about it. Because people wanted to see everything big, big, Because Arjuna says he's Krishna. Arjuna is telling this Krishna is the Supreme Personality about it. But nobody in the Kali Yuga will believe. So that's by showing. Now, if anybody says, I am God, first ask him to show his universal form or even lift the Govardhana hill, right? Then we can do that. So we have to just follow this Krishna conscious lifestyle. With Krishna, we are heroes. Without Krishna, we are zeros. Jai Ganadhara Srimad Bhagavad-gītā ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhich kripa sindhu bhaiya vacha. Patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo.